It was. I had an experience about a month ago, submitting a political essay to the Journal, and George Jackson, I assume, did the editing. Somebody edited it, and when I first read it as it was printed, I said, God, they took out all the good lines. You know, they took out the hot lines. And then when I reread it, I realized, yeah, but what happened is the argument stopped. A punchline went in, and then the argument would start again. And by pulling out what I thought were these pithy, great lines, actually made it a much more coherent piece.
Well, as an example, Rivet had, I originally submitted 377 pages, and I said, here it is. This is the baby. This works, you know. Mm-hmm. And my editor got back with me after 2 weeks and says, man, this thing is, you know, there's good stuff in here, but this isn't the book, you know. You've got to pare this thing down. And I went into some stupid, you know, funk about it, and it took me about 8 months before I realized he was absolutely correct, and I went back and re-edited it, trimmed a third off it, so it now clocks in at like 230 pages. Mm-hmm. But he was exactly right. I was going off on these tangents about being in Catholic school, and it's supposed to be a book about working in the factory, so, you know. I'd have tangents about taking LSD, you know, for, you know, 5 pages on this one acid trip, you know, and can we say acid trip on TV?
Yes, yeah,
okay.
You can.
First
of all, most people.
I thought it was a chicklet, is what I did. Oh, could I get the phone? Oh.
The only people that know what an acid trip is aren't doing it anymore.
Yeah,
so you're okay.
That's right. Well, I don't know about that.
That must be the phone ringing while we're on the air. It must be an acid trip.
Matt Collier.
It's a flashback, right? Actually, it's your agent.
Yes,
don't get off this show. It's going to ruin your career.
Don't talk about acid on TV.
Yeah. Well, no, you're talking battery acid, right?
I'm talking about something I confused for chiclets. You know, somebody gave me a chiclet at a party, and God, the next thing I know, I thought I was, you know, 10, 12 feet tall, and I was seeing zebras and laughing hysterically, and
your editor wouldn't let you put it in the book.
Well, he didn't mind that. There's some of that, but I mean, I just went on in these tangents. You know, I would get carried away with the I don't know, emotional romanticism of looking back on those days and thinking they were so wonderful. You know, but it just didn't. You know, I go off on these tangents. You know, that's only one example. There were other examples. You know, talking about a friend of mine who. Well, no, I won't even go into that.
You don't want to go into that.
That's tasteless.
Yeah, okay.
That's tasteless.
When the process is done in this final product that your editor had some involvement with, and you know, I mean, it was yours, but you had another consciousness there. Do you think it's better?
What, the book is?
Yeah, the final product?
Oh, yeah. I got the galleys back last week, and I had to read them to make sure that everything in there was correct and stuff. And I was very impressed with it. You know, it was the first time I'd read it in like a year and a half, and I really read it, and I thought, you know, if this was a book out there, I would buy the damn thing. And I don't buy that many books, but it entertained the hell out of me. It was nice and tight and concise, the way it probably should have been from the start. Yeah. But you learn as you go, I guess.
Who was your editor?
His name is Charlie Conrad, a young guy who works for Warner Books, that would be.
What was the relationship like?
Really good. You know, we've had our differences in the past. You know, it started out sort of a stony relationship. Yeah. Him being sort of a real educated, proper individual, and me being this slobby Midwestern jerk. But we managed to come very close, especially after he found out all the great '60s music that I had. So.
Hey, listen, I've still got all those records. If he's looking for something, I've got the Beatles album on the VJ label. I mean, the early stuff, you know. One of these days I'll sell it, hopefully.
I just got Gino's a Coward by Gino Washington. Just enthralled, I mean, mint condition.
I want the old Junior Walker albums. Anyway, we're getting off. Talk about your tangents. We're going to take a minute and look at some more announcements. This is Mike Kelly. Ben Hamper is our guest here on Hometown Magazine. And we'll be back in just a minute.